Welcome, I am the Gamer Under Development, or Good if you prefer, and this is episode number 3 of my Panoptica series of City Skylines. In this series we're building a circular city and checking the effect that that has on the reach of services and other reach-based effects in the game. So this episode we're going to be expanding a couple of different districts, and the goal is going to be to actually zone a district back here that is gathering forestry. That's our goal, but in order to get there we're going to have to meet some of the other needs we have, like residential and commercial. Alright, so I've placed the first road right here that we're going to be using to expand outward. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and lay all these roads in real quick just so that we can see where they're all going to be, and then we'll start zoning stuff out. I'm also going to move this police station that I built last time in the wrong place over to here. And later you're going to see why, because we're going to use this as another row for a dump, because we're going to need a second dump. And we're also going to put a school here. Okay, so now we've got all of the new roads laid in, except for one road that will go here once we decide where we're going to put the dump and the school. But for right now I'm going to start off by coming down and taking out these abandoned buildings. Don't want the property values dropping. And then we'll come in and we'll start to lay down some new residential up here. I always want to try to meet the residential need first. The reason that's more important is obviously because the more residents, the more shoppers, and the more employees. And there's still a little electrical pole right there that we gotta take out. Alright, there we go. Excuse me if my voice is a little harsh, I think I've got a flu or something. So I'm just going to go ahead and lay in some new water pipes. And we're going to want to go in and turn our water budget up to about 95. Our electricity budget is fine where it's at, but we are going to need more power, so I'm going to come over here and build a whole bunch more windmills. Probably go with 4 for right now. And then we'll crank this up to times 6 and see what happens. Ooh, or times 9. There we go. Oh, we have no power. Okay. That is because I broke the grid. So I will come over... Oh, the grid is connecting again. Forget it. Sweet. Alright, so now we'll just let that kind of play out and see how things go. Looks like the residentials are beginning to build. Next I'm going to come over here and spray in these commercials. So we should see those just start to pop up. Excellent. Those needs are both down, and now we have a nice industrial need to meet. But before we do that, I want to fix some of our services out here. So I'm going to take a fire station and put it right here. As you can see, that'll cover pretty much all of those outside rings. And then we'll do the same thing down here. Maybe we'll put it right there. Okay, and then we want to check everything else. Oh, I don't have the money for it right now. Okay, so we're going to let some money build up. Take a look at our taxes. I'm going to bump them up by 1% each, just to see if it'll stick. Okay, so we've got 16K now, and we were looking at medical. All good up there. And then the last thing I want to take a look at is education. We're weak in both of these areas on education, so we'll want to put something there. I'm just going to put elementary schools here and here. And then the last thing we're going to do is put the one thing we wanted in here in the first place, which is this dump. Now, the nice thing about that dump is it's out of reach of any residential zones, and it's also out of reach of the school we're going to be putting over here. So it shouldn't mess with anything, and it'll just give us a second dump because we're going to need it until we unlock incinerators. And I'm going to take out that abandoned building. And then for zoning in this area right here, we're going to do something a little bit different. First, we're going to do this. There we go. That's exactly what we wanted. We get as much space as we can, and we still get this garbage dump in right there. We could put cross streets right here, but we don't really need them anymore, so we're not going to bother with them right now. And then we're going to take this whole area here, and we're going to zone this as just regular unzoned industrial. And the reason we're doing that is because right now our zoned industrial is producing agriculture. In a minute we're going to have another zoned industrial that produces forestry, but we don't have any unzoned industrials that will just produce goods with those materials. So that's what this is going to be, sort of like a control group for us. So we're going to paint that district, and we're going to give it generic industry. Once we've got that done, we're going to come up here and get ready to lay in some more industrial up here. So now that we have our new industrial zones painted, let's take a look at what our exports begin to look like as those come up. So right now you can see that our exports are primarily agricultural products, but as those zones begin to fill in, we should start to see some more forestry products pop up there, and hopefully some more goods from this general industrial area. And now that we've got a little bit of money, I'm gonna put some schoolhouses down in both of these areas to help educational coverage out there. And then we'll just let the city grow for a little bit. we've got a little ways until our next population benchmark, but we've met a different kind of benchmark today. We got our new industrial zoning going in 2 different zones, and we may even be able to see that now. Nope, we're still not seeing it. I don't understand why we're not getting a whole lot. Oh, there we go. Forestry is beginning to pop up because these buildings just popped up. So I wonder if these ones will change colors when they're producing general goods or whatnot. You'd think they would turn pink. I guess time will tell. Oh, we're starting to get complaints in the industrial zone about taxes, so I'm going to go ahead and reduce those down to 11. I'm going to clear out all the abandoned buildings, and now I'm going to come in and build some parks and things like that to increase the land values. And then I'll come over here to this area, and we'll do the same with some space up there once we check the natural resources. So this side over here we can put some property value increasing stuff. So I'm going to lay down tennis court and Paradox Plaza and this little thing. Okay, so that should increase the value of that property, make it a little bit more appealing, and hopefully prevent some of these abandoned buildings. Jeez, so many abandoned buildings. I have no idea why we have this epidemic of abandoned buildings. I think you can see, though. Building is abandoned because there were not enough workers. Okay, so it's because our residential demand... Excuse me, it's because our residential demand is so high, these industrial zones don't have enough employees to keep running. So now we actually are running into a major dilemma for our city. We have run out of room on this residential ring right here. This residential ring has become an industrial ring because we need the forest. So do we put another residential ring over here? Or do we do something else that's a little more interesting? I think in the next episode we're going to buy another plot of land, and we're going to start building a residential ring that is just residential, like its own little offshoot plot that is simply connected to the larger ring, and see how we can get traffic to work with that. Because if we can make that work, we can do a bunch of pods of smaller rings, and just have something that kind of looks really cool, like crop circles or something. Anyways, thanks for watching. Like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you want to know when the next one comes out. Please game responsibly.